Welcome to the Untitled Podcast. Today, we're covering My Bloody Valentine,
1981.
and I'm your host, Dustin.
I'm your co-host, Aaron.
And I guess before we get into the nitty-gritty of this, Aaron, how have you been?
I've been pretty good. Can't complain.
Yeah, I know that we've been a little late for the past couple episodes, but we're going to be getting back on track.
Yeah.
Very, very busy week this week for me. Aaron's also slaving away behind the grill every single fucking day, so his schedule's also been very hectic. So I just want to apologize to anybody who feels like we're not on a actual schedule anymore. It's just because
life happens.
Life literally happens, and we say this like all the time. But we're still here for you guys, and today we're going to be covering a movie that I love so much. I love this, and I also love the remake. Maybe at some point we can do like a whole like thing of remake movies, movies that are remade, and maybe we can do that. Not sure about this year, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see as time goes on.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a lot of other really cool things that are happening, especially this week. Some stuff I can kind of say, and then some I can't. I can just say for one of them is that I will be appearing on the House That Screams podcast again this week. I won't say what movie it is or anything like that. That's up to them to do that. But something that's really cool that I will kind of let out of the bag, and I know Aaron's very excited about this too, is our good friend Gina the Dead is going to be coming on the podcast again. We will be recording that hopefully tomorrow, and that will be next week's episode. I won't say what movie we're doing, but we are definitely super excited to have him on. It's been a while since Aaron's talked to him. I mainly see him more because I'm part of his podcast. Aaron's always invited, but he's always working. What a loser. But yeah, are you excited for that, Aaron?
Oh, yeah.
He's such a chill dude. He's also going to be coming to the States for the very first time in April, so Aaron and I will be meeting him in person. And actually going to be getting samples of his hot sauce and whatever else he wants to bring to us. I'm super excited for that because he's, he does everything himself, so it's hard for him to ship things overseas because it costs so much freaking money. But I think that's about it for what's going on this week. And obviously I'm doing another episode and interview with him on his podcast later this week. But today we are going to be doing My Bloody Valentine 1981. So, Aaron, if you want to go over cast members or anything like that on the IMDb, and we can jump into all that fun stuff before we actually break into the movie.
Alrighty. Well, we'll start off with box office today. So,
all right, let's do it.
As you know, it's a Canadian movie.
Yes. For those of you who didn't know,
their estimated budget is 2,300,000 Canadian dollars. I don't know what they're called.
I don't know what that translates. I know Canadian money is cheaper than our money, so that's probably
before a movie though.
I'm gonna say it's about like $1 million US.
Yeah,
probably less, because that was in the 80s, so I'm not sure. But that is still a lot. How much did it make?
Might be. And then it grossed $5,672,031 between the U.S. and Canada.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's probably American dollars since they're not really specifying on that one. So that's pretty good for the 80s for a slasher film.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like a whodunit type thing, because this, I guess you can kind of categorize this as a who did it type movie, since the whole movie you're being strung along. It's this person that did it, and then it gets revealed later like what's going on. So I think this might have been like one of the first kind of like whodunit films. I mean, I think Clue came out around the same time as this. I mean, that's not a horror movie, but for anybody who's played the game Clue, that's pretty much the same premise.
But yeah, the movie is an hour and a half long, so it's not too much of a commitment.
And it's fun. The whole movie is super fun. I feel I love it. Love it so much.
Kind of goofy at times.
Oh yeah.
So, but then we get for cast, we got Paul Kellman who plays TJ, Lori Hellier who plays Sarah, Neil Affleck plays Axel, Heath Knight, Hollis, and Alf Humphreys plays Howard. Cynthia Dale, anyone that rings a bell? Helene Udy, Rob Stein.
Wasn't there a cast member who passed away not that long ago? My Bloody Valentine. I think it might have been the person who played TJ. I'm gonna look that up right now.
But and the movie was directed by George Mihalka. I'm probably messing that up.
That's right. I'm awful with names too, as everybody knows.
But
I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, no, he's still alive. Okay, so Paul is still alive. I thought there was someone who passed away. Mm-hmm. But what else do we have in there that we can do before we jump right into this?
not a whole.
I think that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
Is there any like good quotes or anything in there, or any kind of good reviews before we probably jump over to Rotten Tomatoes? I know sometimes IMDb has reviews that are in there, but
yeah. What was the classic? Roses are red, violets are blue. One is dead, and so are you.
I mean, I definitely have that in my notes. So that's definitely something to remember. There's actually, now that I think of it, going through my notes, there are a lot of good quotes in here. Whether it's like the poem type things or just like things that people say, it's pretty funny. But what do we got for Rotten Tomatoes?
So the tomato meter is at 58%.
Okay, slightly above average.
And then audience scores sitting at 52%.
Okay, still slightly above average. So I mean, like, I guess that's pretty good for this type of movie. It's a slasher. The story, it has a story, but it's not like super like. I'm not gonna say well put together because it is pretty well put together, but it's definitely got some weird things going on with it.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is kind of like the beginning of like the whodunit things. I mean, I know there was probably some like the 60s and whatnot, but yeah, I enjoy this movie so much. Any funky reviews in there? I know when we were doing what did we do last week? Maniac Cop. There's some weird reviews in there.
Quickly devolves into a piece of hack work.
Oh, okay.
My Bloody Valentine probably won't make you shiver with fright, but it's almost certain to make you squirm. First with irritation and then with revulsion.
That's an interesting one.
Earns points for being more mature slasher than others of the time, but most of the human drama feels superfluous. Yeah,
that's it's a big word. But that's funny to say that because this is 1981. So what did we have before that? We had Texas Chainsaw.
Yep.
We had Halloween. Did we have a Friday the 13th yet?
I believe so.
So we might have had one Friday the 13th. I think actually it might have came out the same year as this. I'm not entirely sure. But obviously there's a bunch of like other like spin-offs and like, you know, hacks, if you would like to call it that, around the same time as this. So it's kind of funny that they're saying that this is more mature. I mean, it is true. I guess I will kind of say that.
I mean, it's kind of a revenge story in a way. So I mean, there's like but
I think without further ado, we can jump right into My Bloody Valentine. And Aaron, I guess I'll have you start it this week since I started, I think, last week.
Alrighty. So we start off, we're in a mine, and we meet two miners, both in full gear, decked out, all equipped, face mask, everything. And then two of them kind of sit back and they're just like holding each other. One starts to take her mask off and then eventually
starts horny in the mines.
Yeah. Don't be horny in the mines. But they're in like a mine shaft tucked away. But they're each carrying a pickaxe. They start kind of like making out with their suits on. The girl starts to undress and then tries to undress the other person, but he does like this big, like he sticks his pickaxe in the wall and he's just like
I actually really like that shot.
And just like
I'm the man.
Yeah, right. But he said but he won't remove his mask, so he ends up he's caressing the girl, and she's trying to turn him on, get him to take his mask off, all that fun stuff. She starts stroking his tubes on his suit. But then he ends up grabbing her and slams her against his pickaxe in the wall and impales her through the chest.
This is not even like 1 minute into the movie. We already have a kill.
Yeah, right.
It's like everybody's just trying to. The other ones, they're all just trying to go home. They were in the mines all day. It's also kind of weird that there's a girl down there because, like, they said later on.
They make a big deal about how, like,
no women in the mine.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, before they probably put that rule. So maybe there were other female workers in there. We don't really get a whole lot of other backstory. I think in the remake we get more backstory to Valentine Bluffs than we do in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one reason why I kind of like the remake.
Yeah.
But they're all good in their own way. But yeah, the whole opening scene just really sets up like what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
For the rest of the movie.
And sets the vibe.
It's very grimy and gross too.
But yeah, so then we meet the small town of Valentine's Bluff, which this takes place in Canada, as we mentioned. But they're preparing for their annual. It's been 20 years at this point in the movie where they haven't had a Valentine's dance, and judging by the name, they're pretty big on Valentine's Day. So, but it's a coal mining town where a lot of, there's a lot of like families where the man works, the woman stays home, cooks, old time like fashion.
Definitely like working class.
Yeah, working class mining
before
town.
Like they closed the mines and stuff. So I wish they kind of went into a little bit more as to why they're mining. Like who are they giving stuff to? Are they? Because when you watch this, you think that it's going down there just to go down there. There's no like.
Well, whatever they can find and sell,
Yeah, maybe that's what they do for like their own personal gain. Maybe. I mean, the mayor there, obviously, he runs everything, and his son is there, TJ, which we'll get into a little bit more very, very soon. Yeah, I just wish that there was a little bit more as to why they're still doing it. This is the 80s. I don't know how many mines were still active around this time. I know a lot of them were being closed by like the whole like Cold War thing going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is one thing I wish that they kind of like went off a little bit more on. But it's not that big of a deal.
But, yeah, it's like one of those small towns though where
I struck gold.
Where like people they're raised to just work and then die and breed, basically.
Yeah, that's definitely what it feels like, and everybody's so close knit. Like it's a very small town.
Yeah,
I think we meet everybody in that town in this movie
at one point or another, right?
And it's not that many people.
Yeah,
it's like maybe 30 tops.
Right. Yeah. But yeah. So we are in the town of Hanniger. And not Hanniger, sorry, but Hanniger, the Hanniger mines, where the town mayor is talking about the Valentine's Day dance with a woman named Mabel Osborne. She runs a laundromat in town, and he references like an incident from the past where people were murdered in the mines on Valentine's Day.
It's just weird too that this part, how he brings it up, like it's been 20 years, you think everybody knows the story. It's like they're only doing it to tell us, really, but we witnessed it already in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I think they probably could have left that out a little bit instead of like raising more superstition and getting like the audience or the viewer ready for what's going on. Because like in a movie, especially this is a horror movie, when someone says, oh, this happened so and so ago, it's like, well, then it's just going to happen again because it's a horror movie.
Yeah. And
that's what they do. It's like, I feel like there could have been a little bit more mystery. Maybe they just went on with it and didn't really say anything about, oh, this happened 20 years ago. And then and then he explains it to her. But like I said, she should already know that unless she's like new to town.
Yeah.
But like even the sheriff, like he re-explains it like later on to like the kids and stuff. It's like, they should know that, but they also kind of act dumb, but then later on they know about it. It's very weird.
kind of inconsistent in that sense.
Yeah, so maybe that's why it kind of gets a low score.
Maybe because of the structure. But yeah, so he brings up the fact that there was a tragedy 20 years before where, people were trapped underneath the mines because two supervisors were too worried about getting to their Valentine's dance, so they left early and trapped those men below where they were presumed dead, but eventually they end up coming across one dude who survived by eating the others.
Dude, that's also really terrifying. Like, you being that person trapped down there, you can't get out. The only way you can survive is by eating your friends.
I know, right?
And keep in mind that there was no way for this person to cook anything down there either.
So you're just eating like straight up human, like raw meat.
Oh yeah, like that would have been crazy if they showed like that as a flashback of a guy like literally eating somebody.
I think they did at one point though, like a quick he's eating like a foot or a hand or something like that.
Oh, did I miss that? I've seen this movie so many times I don't remember that.
I think so.
That might be just one of the things that I did see and it's like not in my memory.
Yeah. But
oh, that's so fucking crazy.
Yeah, but that man was Harry Warden. So he was rescued and found in like a state where he's just like he's unhinged and fucking just he's what's the word, like animalistic and like
he's a maniac.
He's
psychopathic.
But
twisted and dead inside.
But yeah, so it took so long, like you said, that he ended up eating his buddies and or their bodies, and then ended up taking revenge on the two supervisors who abandoned them and killing them with a pickaxe and ripping their heart outs, leaving them in some heart-shaped boxes with warnings telling the town to never hold a Valentine's dance ever again.
Yep, and that sets up literally the whole movie. So right then and there, you can kind of just stop watching if you want to, but I encourage you to keep watching because the movie is very entertaining. There's actually really good dialogue. The acting, I think, is very good in this film. I love TJ's performance. I think Paul does a really, really good job. Axel is also very, very good, but there's at points where I'm just like, I kind of want him to just go away.
Yeah.
But for the whole movie, it's always like, should I like Axel or should I like TJ more? And I've always kind of leaned towards more TJ. In this movie, it wouldn't be a Valentine's movie if there wasn't any kind of love involved either.
Romance.
So I can take it from here if you want.
Okay.
So I think they kind of after getting the whole thing, we kind of meet the town a little bit more. All the men who are coming up from the mine, they kind of banter in the shower. There's a lot of friction and stuff between TJ and Axel because TJ was away for a while, then he came back, and Axel is with his ex-girlfriend, but TJ still thinks that she wants him and doesn't want Axel, so there's a love triangle going on, so you can already feel a lot of friction going on. There's a goof in the group who's always trying to, be funny and do stupid shit, and then there's the the smart boy with the glasses who's more very grounded. He's got a girlfriend also, and he's always trying to keep everybody together and calm down, because TJ and Axel love to kind of start shit. But yeah, so we meet the sheriff and we meet the mayor. Then we kind of see what the hall's like and just get a little overview of the whole town. And then I forget where they're going, but I know the mayor and the sheriff are going. Where the hell are they going? They were going somewhere. They're in the car, and then the mayor gets handed a heart-shaped box of chocolates. And meanwhile, Aaron, while we're here, I got you a little something too.
Ooh, from me?
Yeah. You're my Valentine.
Aww. Is there a heart in here?
No, I promise there's no heart in there. But yeah, the mayor gets a heart-shaped box, and he opens it up. It's like, oh, I wonder who this could be. who it could be from. And then inside, he opens it, and it says, "From the heart comes a warning, filled with bloody good cheer. Remember what happened as the 14th draws near." And then as he says that, he's like, "It's happening again," because he sees the heart. And then they start like freaking out, and then and whatnot. And then they seem like they turn around, but then it cuts away from them, and then it jumps to the group at the what they call is the cage. And it's a bar where everybody like hangs out. It's a local bar, everybody there knows each other and whatnot. And then there's a bartender there who's like trying to give a warning. It's like, "It's happening again. Harry Warden has came back to take revenge on this town. Even though it's been like 20 years, but he's like, you guys need to listen to me. This dance cannot like go on," and stuff like that. He's like, "You need to listen." They're like, yeah, shut up, man. This is like 20 years ago, whatever. And then also in the background, we got a group of Axel and then his buddy who were like doing like the knife thing between the hands and
5-finger fillet.
Yep. And then Axel is just like looking at his friend, but the other guy oh my god, cuts his finger. Half of the time, like I'm trying to talk and my brain's just like, no. I hate that so much. So sorry, guys. And then we get a flashback to pretty much Harry Warden, and what the town was like before, and how he killed people and whatnot. And then we get another thing that they like to do for like this one waitress that works there. Her name's Harriet, and they have like that little song how they call her like the Valentine virgin named Harriet. And it's fucked up. Like you would not be able to fly with something Canadians. Like that. They're literally, and she's like going along with it and like laughing and whatnot. So you can see like everybody kind of like jokes on each other and banter all the time. Everybody's pretty friendly, until TJ and Axel, kind of go at it because of the ex-girlfriend. And then we kind of jump back to the hysterical mayor and sheriff. The sheriff is calling the hospital that Harry was held at for 20 years, trying to get answers. Like, hey, we need to know if this guy is still here because we got what happened 20 years ago. We have a heart in a box, literally. So we need to figure out what's going on. And we also get an autopsy of saying how this woman's heart was it was like a heart of a 30-year-old woman. The medical examiner tells them.
Presumably the woman from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, so that's also kind of weird now you're thinking about it, because I was thinking about that also. But how did she get down there if there was already a rule of no woman in the mine?
Maybe she snuck in with their boyfriend, or whoever that dude was.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that makes the most sense. But at the same time, it's like, was she working down there? What was she doing? Was she hiding out? Did nobody else know that she was there? How also, everybody's wearing the same thing. I don't think there's nameplates on anything. Maybe I'm wrong, like on their suits. But how, if she got lost, how would she know that was the person that she was with? What if it wasn't the person that she was with, and she bumped into somebody else?
That's just a risk you gotta take, I guess.
And then she...
You want to get laid in the mine.
Yeah, and then she got pickaxed. That'd be crazy. And then we kind of get to our second kill. I love this whole thing with Mabel. How she's like at her laundromat just doing her thing, getting everything ready for the party and whatnot. So she's just doing her thing, and then we get a POV camera of the would-be killer who just walks in. Casually just walks in, even though she walks into like the back room, and he has a box of chocolates, or so we think, and puts it on the table, and then walks around he tries to go forward, but then she comes, and then he walks over, and then she finds the box. He's like, who could this be? And she has a thing for the sheriff, and the sheriff also has a thing for her. We kind of grasp at the first scene of when they were meeting. But she opens it up with a smile on her face and opens up a card that says, "Roses are red, violets are blue, one is dead, and so are you." And then then she's just all freaking out, and our killer comes out and pretty much pins her, and then sadly you kind of get a cutaway and don't really see what happens until
the next morning,
the following day. And Aaron, you can take it away.
Mabel has been stuffed into one of her industrial dryers.
Mm-hmm.
So she's nice and toasty now.
Very toasty.
Oh yeah, nice and well done. But yeah. So when investigating, they end up finding that her heart has also been ripped out, and her skin was obviously torched from the heat of the dryer.
Mm-hmm.
So Newbie doesn't want people panicking and freaking out, so he goes with, she had a heart attack.
Dude, you know what? When I was watching this,
Hell of a heart attack.
the thing is, this sheriff, just like in Maniac Cop, was like, we got to keep this to us.
Oh, they always want to, yeah.
Only us. We can't let anybody know, even though it's just a small ass fucking town.
Yep.
Right? Everybody knows each other. You might as well just say it, because they're gonna find out.
Every crime horror I've ever seen, it's always like that. It's like even Wolf Cop, and then like
that is true. That's such a great movie. Please go listen to that review and watch that movie of Wolf Cop. It's
any
so good.
crime horror I've ever seen has had that same. Oh, we can't let's get to the public or to the media.
Yeah, it's always that way.
But
always, man. Wrong choice. Wrong choice.
So he wants to keep it hush hush on the down low. So he ends up releasing information that she died of a heart attack, and ends up calling the mental institution. We already went over this. He was already calling, to find out about Harry Warden, and but anyways, they're afraid that he's going to be coming back and continue his spree.
Yeah, even the woman's like, we have no records of him. Let me call somebody else though, and we'll get back to you in a couple of days. It's like, well, I need it like now, man.
But with that being said, Mabel being gonzo, the dance is now canceled, and TJ and his group of friends gather at the local bar where they're listening to stories from the bartender about how Harry Warden went on his rampage, and they're just laughing at him. Shut up, old man. You don't know what you're talking about.
Listen to the wise old man.
Right? Which pisses him off. And then you got Happy, who overhears them talking about having their own party in the mine after it closes.
Yep.
Which they then leave, and the bartender rushes out to the mine, and sets up a fake dummy with a pickaxe and a gas mask to scare him.
Scene too.
Yeah. But
right, like, haha, I'm gonna play a joke with you, and then it goes completely sour.
It's funny too. He sits there for like 5 minutes, just.
It's like, why are you still doing that, dude? Like, just leave it, man. Just leave.
While he's sitting there testing his little trap, though, he opens the door to find the real killer behind there, and ends up getting just pickaxe in his face.
Yeah. And like also like we still have like the love triangle and everything that's going on behind here, where her teacher's like, Sarah, I need you back. Like he even like takes her to like an old spot I guess they used to go to, and even more tensions are high with Axel because now TJ is seen with Sarah and Axel's kind of left alone, and he's getting really pissed off. Which I mean, I would be too, but then like at the same time you got to kind of understand that they were together originally. Yeah, TJ left to go, I guess, to school or something like that. We don't really know. He just says that he kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And then Sarah's like, well, why didn't you like reach out? He's like, well, I didn't know if you wanted me to, and stuff like this and whatnot. And I think we also get a note before this too. I don't know what the hell happened, but I have a quote here. It says, it happened once, it happened twice. Cancel a dance or it happened thrice. And that's when they decide to cancel everything and close the hall. And we get the bartender who likes to play with his dummy too much and gets fucking pickaxed. But he moved that dummy out of there very quickly.
Yeah, right.
Like the killer like moved it so fast. And
no sound too.
Yeah, but he was like, "Well, I heard something," but as a viewer, I don't think there's any kind of audio cue or anything that
it was got swapped out.
That got swapped out, and it was like in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, so then we cut to the following night when these kids are all starting to show up at their party in the mine.
And keep in mind, this is Valentine's Day.
Yeah, this is Valentine's Day. So TJ and Axel decide to kind of like keep the peace and just kind of
they tried to.
They try to. But and then we meet Dave, who is murdered.
Oh, poor Dave.
He ends up drowning and burnt in a pot of boiling hot dogs and water.
What a way to go, man. The guy was just hungry because, once again, this is another thing I have on here. It's like, these guys are always fucking high. Because they're always saying, I've got the munchies.
Right.
I've got the munchies. And they say it
well,
like
the Canadian makes sounds about right.
Yeah. So he's like, I got the munchies. And he
wants to go for a hot dog.
Walks into the kitchen and...
There's a giant pot of hot dogs just being cooked.
Yeah, that's really, really funny.
But then the killer carves out his heart and throws it into the pot with the hot dogs and stuffs his body in the freezer.
Yeah, that's really funny.
So, and then eventually one of the girls ends up coming into the kitchen for the same thing. She's like, I want a hot dog. I get the munchies.
Yeah.
She comes in, and has tongs. She grabs, of all, like, the freaking hot dogs and shit, she grabs the heart of...
Yeah, they're all floating on top, keep in mind. I'm gonna go to the bottom and see where this is. She's like, oh, this is weird. Yeah, that's but the other guy who's with the girl in the mine, who she gets killed too, which is a very cool kill. How she gets, well, we don't really see it happen, but she gets like lured into like the showers, and then they like impale her head into into like the spout, and then after he gets his drinks and shit, he goes back and finds that there's water just pouring out of her mouth. You see, that's like a silhouette. I think of it that I really like. That's really cool. That's a very cool kill. That's too bad we didn't really see too much of it.
All right, but yeah. So after she gets impaled on the shower, one of the miners, Hollis, he ends up getting some of the others and some of the others convince him to go down to the mine with him or whatever, and he takes his girlfriend Patty, Sarah, Howard, and another couple. Michael and Harriet, after they went to the mine, the bodies of Sylvia and Dave are discovered. Who Dave is the one who discovered his girlfriend on the shower head. So he's also dead. Gretchen, who Howard is in love with or dating or whatever they are, finds Dave in the shower, not the shower, sorry, the freezer, and John ends up telling everybody about her being killed, and Axel is warning everybody that Harry Warden's responsible and that he's around.
Yeah, like now is when they start to realize.
They're like, shit, they weren't fucking around with us.
Yeah, and also like the whole time they're like, yeah, it's just a freaking legend.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden it's real.
Yeah, right. Now they get their shit together. Everybody starts panicking and leaving, and and then TJ and Axel find out that the others went even deeper into the mine and that they took an elevator down to warn them and get them out safely. Yeah. But while they're down there, Michael and Harriet go off into the engine room to have sex, and the killer ends up coming and impaling them with a large drill.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see at first, too, what the fuck happened when you're looking at that scene. You're like, what are they impaled by? But once you figure out, it's like,
yeah, right.
Wow, that's awful.
So, Hollis discovers those bodies, and he ends up getting attacked by the killer, who used a nail gun to put 2 huge friggin' nails right into his head.
Oh, yep.
So, Patty and Sarah discover him, and
I feel so bad for Patty, man.
Right? I love how it's just a chain reaction, too. It's like, oh, a dead person gets killed. Ooh, a dead person gets killed.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy. But, so they discover him, and they end up seeing the miner who disappears into a tunnel.
Yeah.
And then they run off, freaking out, leaving Patty and Sarah alone, or Howard runs off.
Yeah.
So.
And this is, I think, when another thing that I really think is cool is like when the killer's like breaking all the lights and shit,
so
no one can see anything. That's really cool. I like that.
Scare tactics.
But he didn't do all of them because it was still really lit up down there.
Yeah. But meanwhile,
Oh, another thing too that I need to point out is when it's just Sarah and Patty, when they see the killer coming at them, they take that sweet ass fucking time moving.
always.
and then we never see anything happen of that. They just run off. But it feels like it should have gone on for
Like
a
one of
lot
those
longer.
classic scenes where it's like a close up of them running, like looking back, but then you just got the killer just.
Yeah, like I'm going to get you. I'm gonna get you. Yeah.
But meanwhile, Axel and TJ end up showing up, and they try to get the two girls out of the mines and safe. But the control panel to the mining cart was fucked with, and the elevator was disabled. So they end up climbing up the service ladder, and they're halfway up there, and they are startled when Howard's body drops from somewhere above them. And
I think it's like one of the very few jump scares that are in this film. There's like one other, but I don't remember what the hell happened.
yeah.
But
yeah, he's got a rope around his neck, so he must come up from pretty high because the fact that decapitates him.
yeah, there's a lot of brutal kills at the very end of this. I wish it was a little bit more bloody and like detailed, but you get all that in the remake. Trust me.
Yeah.
The remake does not hold any fucking punches, and I need to rewatch it. It's very good, Aaron. I think if you really, for anybody who really likes this My Bloody Valentine, you're gonna love the remake.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything about it, but it holds the same story, but there is some things that are gonna be like, wow. I'm glad that this remake did this and it didn't follow the exact thing that happened in this one.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm going to say, because eventually we probably will cover it, because I like it a lot.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out and watch it soon then.
Yes, you do. And for anybody else who hasn't, please watch both of these. Watch them back to back, because, yeah, just do it.
So they just witnessed their friend's dead body get decapitated. They're covered in blood. So now they think Harry Warden is up at the top of the ladder that they're climbing, so they decide, fuck that. And while coming around a turn in the mine, TJ, Sarah, and Patty end up hearing Axel scream behind them. So when they go back to check on him, it seems as if he's fallen into a well.
Yeah, it's like, this is weird too. Because where they're going, they're in a mine, but there's water down there. I don't know how far did it say that they were. It was like 1,000 feet or something like that, or something like that.
Yeah.
That they're below. But they're like walking on this very rickety, like all made out of wood, thing right next to
like
water.
A beam, yeah.
And then you see the lantern from the hat just go down, and then bubbles come up.
Oh yeah.
So you're like,
so he
fuck.
probably can't even keep himself afloat at that point.
No, that must be super deep, for it being underground too.
Yeah.
I don't know what mines are like inside, so maybe there are mines that have like really deep pockets of water.
Oh, I'm sure, because like groundwater, they
Yeah. So that's very scary.
Yeah.
But I can take it from here for a little bit. But yeah, as Axel, is right now supposedly quote unquote dead. TJ takes the girls and he's like, okay, you guys need to stay on this side of the wall. We got to, find help. We got to get up. We need to make it our way to the carts to go back up. So that's their main objective right now, is to go back to the carts, get those moving, and go up. And then, out of nowhere, Patty gets impaled by a pickaxe. And Sarah runs. I'm pretty sure at this point too, I think TJ may have gotten. There's like a collapse that happens too, but we don't really see a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's they get separated again, and TJ's like off somewhere else, and then Sarah and TJ come back together, and he's all bloodied, and he looked like he got hit in the head. And at the same time, all this is happening, the town finally arrives because the sheriff, called into the station. Like, we need all the backup. We need everybody who can make it to the mine now, because the killer's here. He even said it's not Harry Warden, it's somebody else, because he's been dead for some time now that he found out. So they get there, and then we still don't know who the killer is. But we do know now, or I believe we say that he gets a call from the car, I think, and tells them like as they're arriving, and then we're still like, well, then who the fuck is the killer if it's not Harry? Everybody else is dead. So Harry jumps into one of, or quote unquote Harry jumps into one of the cars that TJ started, and Sarah's there, and they're trying to like fend it off and whatnot. So they're going up, and the town is also coming down. Which this is the distance between them and the town is not that much, but it seems like it's a lot. Because the cars make it to the town people while they're jumping off of the car, so you think they wouldn't be that far away.
Yeah.
But the movie makes it seem like they're like super far away, so this always bugged me a little bit because it's like they should be right there when they're jumping off, but it's not. So at this point, they all jump into like another part of the abandoned mine. They break it down, and then the killer starts to attack TJ, and then Sarah finds a shovel, and then TJ starts using the shovel to fend off the pickaxe, and then they finally knock him over, and then they demask him, and then they find out it's Axel. And then we get like a quick flashback of Axel as a kid watching his dad get killed by Harry Warden. And then this what kind of links everything together. He has some sort of psychosis that got like fucked up or something when he was a kid, and we don't really get a lot of context, but it's like he kind of, I don't know, was inspired somehow or something to finish off the town or whatnot. Like, we don't know if Harry and him ever really interacted because we don't really see much of that. We just see that he's under the bed watching his dad get killed by Harry, and then we just get like the face of Axel, like all not really sad, but just not there. Like at this point, like he's just completely lost. And then the rest of the town runs pretty much in there because TJ and Sarah are like, oh, he's in here. So they all run in there, and I think he's now underneath a bunch of rubble.
Yep.
So they start to dig him out, and then the sheriff, I think at this point, announces that it's not Harry because Harry's been dead for 5 years, and like, yeah, we know it's Axel. And he's like, what? Runs in there. And then we get the kind of, I want to say this might be the most famous part of the movie other than like the actual outfit of like the killer, is the whole ending of Axel running away and like literally talking crazy and shit. He's like, I'm gonna get you, Sarah, be my Bloody Valentine. He's like, it's crazy laugh and stuff like that.
And he cuts off his own fucking arm.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's very crazy. Batshit ending. It's a great movie. The whole time you are convinced that it's Harry. Because you're really also in the back of your mind, like, if it's not, is it this guy? But you're like, no, because he's here at this point. But at the same time, you kind of get confused as to why it's Axel because of when the couple gets killed in the mine. Because at that point, he's still, as we think, is with TJ. So you're like, maybe it's two killers. Like, you could do like a Scream thing, how it's two killers, but it's not. It's Axel the whole time.
He's just that good.
And there's not really any motive, really, other than him just carrying on what Harry did. It's like my best way of describing it. Maybe
just a mentally ill man.
Like, he was. And also the thing is like the sheriff and the mayor are also like, oh, it's Axel. He saw Harry kill his father. Like, we don't get a whole lot of explanation as to why he's like this. But if they knew that he saw his dad get killed, did he get any kind of treatment? Was there anything? Did he just kind of just let it go by, and then he was like adopted because he was at the age like where he needed to be with a family? He wasn't 18 at this point. It's, I don't know. It's a crazy movie. I love this movie so much. The first time I watched it, it didn't really hit me of liking it, but I watched it even more, and then I watched the remake, and it kind of made me appreciate this one even more. Yeah, I love this movie. If I have to rate it, it's definitely not going to be highly rated. In my eyes, I do enjoy it. I'd probably give this like a 7.5 out of 10 pickaxes. I don't know. I like it, but there's definitely things in it that probably could have been done better.
It's a good movie. It's not my favorite, but like,
and this was also your first time watching it too, right?
So I'm gonna have to revisit it after and see if it changes. But
it will grow on you. Definitely will. The characters.
Feel like creative kills. It's good for that. It's got a decent story. It's short, kind of to the point, but it's classic like slasher.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna give it 6.5 bloody pickaxes out of 10.
Wow, you're going lower than me today, dude. Usually you're like, I'm gonna either go with you or I'm gonna go above you. So this is like our first like disagreement on this kind of our scoring. But yeah, I would definitely suggest watching it again. It's probably gonna be like one or two more like watch throughs, but before you watch it again, watch the remake.
Okay.
So do that and then go back and watch it because that's what helped me appreciate this movie even more.
Yeah.
This was the remake was in 2000, so it's like along that line of like everybody needed to remake a movie.
Yep.
Is when this kind of came through, and I think out of all those remakes, this is probably my favorite remake of anything during that time.
Yeah.
Just because of what they do with it and how they kind of add to the story and make it even more original.
Yeah.
It's like a 1-for-1.
Exactly.
And that's what I like about
turn
remakes.
Into its own thing.
And if you're gonna make a remake of a movie, add something to it. Don't just do a 1-for-1 because it's stupid. Then I'm just gonna go watch the original if that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you want to show respect to the original, and without like changing it too much.
Like,
but like
you can make it modern. I have no problem with that, but as long as you're adding something to it and not just being like shot for shot.
Yeah.
Line for line, you gotta add something new to it. But I really want to know, what do you guys think? Do you like My Bloody Valentine? Is this a movie that you're not too fond of? Out of all the slashers that were out at this time, was this something that you liked? Would you prefer like Halloween or Friday the 13th more? I like this one just because it's so different.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I like it. It's not like all the other ones. Everything else is like goofy slasher, as much blood and gore as possible. This has actually story to it. It makes you think a little bit.
Yep.
The acting is very good. The kills are pretty good. Even though I wish they were a little bit more bloody.
But you can see more, yeah.
Like I said, you get that in the remake, so I can't really knock points for that. Because at the time, this is a low-budget film, like they all were back then.
Yeah.
This is also a Canadian film, so I'm sure that their laws or whatever with movies might have been a little bit stricter, like what they could have done and what they could have shown, compared to the U.S. I'm not entirely sure how all that works. But yeah, 7.5 for me.
But, yeah.
Would you recommend this to everybody else, or would you say skip it?
I would recommend it. I would say add it to the queue of classic horror movies to watch if you're trying to start getting into it.
Yeah, exactly. This is I would say this is probably like a beginner slasher.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want anything too heavy with a bunch of kills and stuff and having
like
to
I said,
worry about
it's like kind of a short movie too, so it's not too much of a commitment either.
Mm-hmm. The killer looks fucking sick. A miner suit.
Yeah, right.
With the gas mask and everything. It's so good. And also go listen to the Iceland Kills song because they make this movie seem way better than it really is. They really, really do.
Right.
But yeah. It's a great movie. But that's pretty much all I have to say on this.
Yeah.
And like I said, this week is super busy. I have another Dean of the Dead episode I'm doing. I'm recording Dean tomorrow for our podcast. I'm going on the House of Screams. It's a crazy week. But thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next time. Stay spooky.
Bye.